how do we keep the same momentum going at home that we get in preschool, daycare, or in ABA clinics, speech therapy, occupational therapy? Understanding that we all are busy.
Yep.
We are in a generation again, like we were back in the 70s and early 80s, where both parents had to go to work, where it's kind of funny, everything runs in cycles. Everybody's got to work 2 jobs. Mom's working, dad's working, the latchkey kid things are going on again.
Yep.
So how do we make the most out of the little bit of time that we have? Hi, friends and family, and welcome back to another edition of Pam and the Purple Couch podcast. Today, we're going to go a little deeper into early intervention, and we're stretching this with you all. Why? Because early intervention is this big, huge rubber band, a rubber band of, well, what do I do? What does the provider do? What is the role for the daycare worker? What is the role for the preschool teacher? How do we all work together for the child during this wonderful little window of opportunity? So Manny,
Lovely.
Today, this is the key. I would go out here, again, I'm aging myself, Dick Van Dyke, the one-man band, you know what I'm saying? I can see him drumming, and that's what I want to do because early intervention is so key.
Right.
I don't care if it's play therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, applied behavioral analysis, ABA. I don't care. It's getting to your kid when that window of opportunity is available.
Right, exactly.
I see all of these videos and reels with these wonderful little children learning 3 or 4 different languages by the time they're 5. Why? Well, because we can go back to the neuroscience on that. Those wonderful little electrodes in the brain are all firing right now, and they're looking for things to wire together. And so the brain is so alive, and the child is a sponge of information.
Yeah.
Like you put the sponge in the water, you push it down, and it just
fills up. Yeah.
sucks it all up. That is what our children are doing during that 18 months, all the way up until they're 4. They're just like, give it, more, more. So we have to utilize that time.
Right.
Parents, this is not the time to be setting them in front of an iPad. This is not the time to be setting them in front of the TV. And if you do set them in front of the TV, we all have that new button called pause. I'm like, you hit the pause button. Watch you get the attention of all of your kids real quick. What did you do? Hit the play button. I'm in the middle of my movie. Okay. So how many people are on the TV? What colors are on the TV? Where's the dog on the TV? Where's the ball on the TV? We don't care, Mom, just hit play. Nope, we have to give and take.
Yep.
There's little tiny teachable moments in every opportunity that we have.
Yeah.
I think that is why I want to hone in on this, because there's so many lost opportunities that parents, I don't have time. You could be driving in the car, taking your kid to daycare. How many trees do we see today? How many orange cars are on the road? Why? Because, you may see one every month. I don't see orange cars on the road. But if you have your child looking for it, now they're not down on the phone. They're not on the tablet. They're not on the educational toy that's also an electronic. Because, we've heard that too. I don't give them an iPad. I don't give them an iPhone. But that leapfrog is in their hand like it's a death grip.
Right.
So what I really want to help our parents with today is, how do we communicate, express our needs for our kids, and then find the right team at such an early age? What does it look like? Who is that team? And then how do we keep the same momentum going at home that we get in preschool, daycare, or in ABA clinics, speech therapy, occupational therapy? Understanding that we all are busy.
Yep.
We are in a generation again, like we were back in the 70s and early 80s, where both parents had to go to work, where it's kind of funny, everything runs in cycles. So as I'm sitting here going, well, in finances right now, everybody's got to work 2 jobs. Mom's working, dad's working, the latchkey kid things are going on again.
Yep.
And so it's cyclic. So us Gen Xers here, we've got a little experience in this. So how do we make the most out of the little bit of time that we have?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always reflect on, both as a parent and as a provider, is, of behavior analysis services anyway, is taking each opportunity that we have and asking ourselves, are we in triage, or do I have time to develop whatever the skill is? So, for example, if my kid is bleeding because they have a cut, I'm going to teach them how to take care of that wound.
Yes.
We're going to clean it, we're going to put a Band-Aid on it, and we're not going to take that Band-Aid off until it's time, right? And we're going to teach that because I know what my little buggers do. They're going to pick at that that Band-Aid off, they're going to take it first thing, or they're going to, my little girl goes, don't touch my Band-Aid, and it's a great opportunity to teach about cleansing and cleaning and all that. But that's in the moment in that triage. Now, let's talk about a skill like dressing themselves. Okay, that's not a very urgent thing today, but I can build that over time.
Correct.
And I think that early intervention is such a kind of a fun time that we have so many skills that we can learn to brushing your teeth, dressing yourself, tying your shoes, communication, the ABCs, the colors.
Picking up a fork.
The eating,
A spoon.
right? Walking, waiting. Like there's all these skills that we work on with the little guys and gals. And, but not everything is urgent. Not
Right.
everything is pressing. You don't have to do it on a time clock. Now, that being said, there are certain things that we are on a time clock. So, for example, we always talk about potty training and the social pressures of potty training. But let's take the social pressure out of the equation. We know that even medical doctors will tell you, if they're not potty trained by a certain age, it's going to be harder to train them down the road.
Absolutely.
So think of that not in terms of pressure, but just in terms of developmental milestones. So like 4, 5, years old. If by 5, 6 years old they're not totally potty trained, it's going to be a lot harder for Johnny and Sally to do it, right? So there is a certain sense of urgency with that kind of skill because it's that formidable time to really do it right and to train them.
I'm glad you brought up potty training because when we're talking about dedication and communication in early intervention,
And a team.
this is one of those triggers.
Yeah.
So parents, we have an amazing program in our early intervention clinic. We can, and I'm telling you, I'm going to stand by it. There's not any child that cannot be potty trained as long as the timing is right. Social, emotionally, they are mature enough to handle that because not all children develop at the same time.
Right.
This is key because that's when we go back to those, I was talking the other day about BMI. Based on whose, okay, I like it, that's your generalized, that this is what we're looking at, but that's really not the key here. The key is knowing your child. Leave the door open when you go potty if you have a young one that's walking around because you have to desensitize the toilet. For a child, that is an extremely strange, scary, entire process. So when you're opening that door to a child, then you have to desensitize it. Mm-hmm. But if you're going through that process, you must communicate with those that work with your kid.
Right.
Because you want the whole team understanding, hey, Johnny's ready to start potty training. How do I know that? Oh, because Johnny's now very interested in the toilet. That could be Johnny throwing fish in the toilet. That's his little goldfish that he eats. He's throwing them in the toilet now. Oh, he wants to put his toys in the toilet now. Okay, that is the perfect time because it means he's not afraid of the toilet. He knows stuff goes in there, but where does it go afterwards? A lot of our kids, that's some of the stress of the toilet is they flush, the water go, where's it going?
Right.
Take the back of the toilet off and show them. Explain these things to them. But we could do many episodes on potty training alone, but potty training is a good one because if you and your caregiver are communicating, hey, I'm starting Johnny on potty training, then we are all on potty training.
Right. And I'll take the provider angle on that. It's kind of like in reverse too. So we get a lot of parents that come into our door and they almost expect us to start the potty training when they in fact are not ready or they don't want to at home.
Hold on. I want to time that out. And he's not meaning the child's not ready.
No.
He's meaning the parents are not ready.
Exactly.
We have gotten children in our early intervention clinic completely potty trained Monday through Friday. They go home for the weekend. They come back on Monday with a pull-up. And we're like, what happened? What's going on? That was just too much work.
Right.
Okay, and it was easier just to put the pull-up back on. And guys, that's what we have to make sure. It's not just is the child ready, but are you ready as a parent? Because otherwise you can actually set your kid up with mixed signals.
And this is every skill. I mean, from communication skills to the language, to receptive language, to following simple instructions, to sitting at a table and doing a worksheet or coloring, completing a task from start to finish. I mean, the list of skills is almost endless. But when you break it down and you sit down with whether it's a teacher in your pre-K or your early intervention program or your daycare, you know, what are they working on? What are they doing? Is it Play-Doh? Is it art? Is it whatever? And replicating that at home so that for the child, it's all together. And for the same thing back and forth. If you're working on something at home, does your teacher know about it?
Correct.
So that they can help replicate it at the school.
While you're talking, two things come into my head. One from the caregiver provider standpoint and the other for the parent. So especially right now, we just revamped one of our facilities. Why do I have to have the schedule out? Why do we have to stick to a schedule? Maybe he wasn't, because mom and dad want to see that schedule too. The child needs that structure and consistency. So not only are you doing a schedule for the kid, you're doing it also for the staff. So they know what's going to come next.
Right.
What is after lunch? What do we do after playground time? What happens once we're finished art?
Right.
These are a lot of things, especially our neurodivergent children. Just like Loki said the other day, because I said so, doesn't work with our kids.
Right.
No.
Nope.
And it doesn't work with our staff either. So when we start telling them the why, then you get the buy-in.
Right.
Because now they know the goal that we're working on and that this is just another step in order to get to the goal.
Right.
All right, families, we'll be right back after this special message. Are you looking for an alternative to public school? 𝗘𝗿𝗆𝗆 Academy is your home, where every child is looked at as an individual. Come to 𝗘𝗿𝗆𝗆 Academy, take your tour today, and you will see the difference. 𝗘𝗿𝗆𝗆 Academy at www.puzzleboxacademy.com. And now, back to the Purple Couch Podcast. The other thing that I was thinking of while you were talking was that I see so many times the parents in stress, in crisis, just like food, because this isn't just potty training.
No.
If we think about our kids eating, and something that I want to trigger into is it's brothers and sisters, our siblings that are in the household, carry so much weight when it comes to your other children that it can actually hinder the development of your child. So we talk about your twins a lot. And what I see in many times, especially in the twin scenario, is there'll be an alpha twin and a beta twin. And the beta twin normally is a delay in language because the alpha twin is speaking for the other child. So they could both be sitting here together, side by side, and one just looks at the other one. Jojo wants something to eat. Jojo's tired. Jojo needs to sleep right now. And it's not even the mom, it's the other sibling. And I use your twins, but it's not even just in twins. It happens a lot in twins when they have their own language. But it also happens in age difference. And you have all that in your house. So you can see where the one becomes more the alpha. And the reason I'm chuckling in my head, my sister, we are 2 years apart from each other. And when we were growing up, my sister was delayed in speaking and had speech language therapy and everything. And finally, our doctor was like, Stephanie can talk, but Nikki is talking for her, so she doesn't have to. So she would just look at me and be like, and be like, she doesn't like that. You can stop that right now. I'm big protective sister. But we see that in siblings.
Oh, yeah.
We have a child up at early intervention right now that his older brother looks identical to him. The other day, he was in the clinic. I had already been with him. We'd had water play day. And then all of a sudden, about 3 hours later, his mom's up at the front with his older brother, and they look identical. The one is neurotypical, the other one's neurodivergent, but they could pass as identical twins, even in height, everything. And I thought for sure that that was him. And then I had to look, and even one of our other kids walked up to him. And then he looked at me like, why isn't he talking to me? And I was like, oh, because this is his brother. This isn't even him.
Right.
But you see how that,
Oh, yeah.
and as parents, we don't pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting the answer because we're not spending the time to go, okay, well, in my house situation, Nikki, Stephanie can speak for herself.
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear her speak, but that again comes into the communication with the staff too, because we do an intake. And we get all this wonderful information. We have an interview with the parents. We have an interview with the teachers, interview with the behavioralist, all coming up to the team to make sure that we're servicing the kid the best.
Yep, absolutely.
And that means communication on all sides. Just like we had talked about. If the kid isn't feeling good, if the kid doesn't sleep really good that night, these are things that you want to share with the people that are taking care of your child.
Absolutely.
We have, a communication log that you can put the notes and everything in so that anybody that's dealt with JoJo, I don't know where JoJo came from, but anybody that's dealt with JoJo understands that, hey, last night he only got 2 hours of sleep.
Right.
It's going to be a rough day today. So that means we're not going to put additional stressors on the child when you already know that his limit.
Right.
I wear my Whoop that's like documenting my sleeping and my stress and my activity and my workout. And I'm like, well, I check it every morning now. Why? Because we're data driven.
Yep.
So when I see where my strain level is, and I'm like, okay, Pam, you got a short fuse today. Remind yourself that you've got the short fuse. I'll come into the hallway looking at my C-suite, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm at 2.5 today, all right? Pam's a little stressed. My trigger is right there, But it's the same way with us talking.
Oh, yeah.
Just like up at our clinic in early intervention, the WTF, what's the function shirts? It's because we're allowing our staff to communicate.
Right.
So parents, caregivers, teachers, anyone that is in that child's life is your team. So we should all be communicating. And something especially in early intervention, and it's one of the reasons we did Mind Meld, was I don't want to say shame, but it comes into play a lot. I don't want to talk about what my kid's doing behind closed doors. I don't want to talk and tell anybody that he's smearing things all over the wall. I don't want to talk and tell anybody that he can't get his hands out of his pants. Little girls, same way. And that's when you need to communicate, parents, because when you can come in and say, hey, Dr. Manny, there's this thing going on in the house when he gets home and he's doing XYZ. Is this okay? I'm going to let most of you all know. The biggest thing will be take a deep breath. This is completely normal. Or if it's abnormal, you're just one in 20 other kids that does this exact same thing. There is nothing nowadays that is a one-offer. Between our years combined, if we haven't seen it, we've heard about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But parents, you might not have known it because it's your first kid. We can sit back and go, okay, well, in the last 11 years, there's been over 1,800 families I've been exposed to. That's a lot of data.
It's a lot of data.
We even talked about it in the OBM side when we talk about business. We've been through where we could write a book like a coffee table.
11 years,
you won't
not
believe
insignificant.
this.
Not just 11 years in business, but also the businesses we worked for in the past.
Correct.
Like it's a lot of years. Yeah.
So we have that. But a lot of parents need to call on their team, and we're part of their team to be like, I can't believe he's doing this, and my husband and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, have you thought about XYZ? And most of the time they're like, no, are you kidding me? Just like when we were having the monthly meeting here, when we did the Zoom, one of the parents that was here early to watch us live, she was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
Right.
And do you know how beat up I felt every time? Handwriting. It's a very big one.
Big one, yeah.
Is that everyone wants your kids to write. But have they been taught how to write? Everyone wants them to have this most beautiful handwriting so that it can be legible. Okay, well, do they even have the muscle skills in order for it to be legible? A lot of times, those parents are doing that on their own, and they're holding back because, again, they can Dr. Google it now, or they can trust someone's social media reel with no validation. Well, I heard it on YouTube. Well, on a reel on Facebook,
Right.
they said that Johnny should be doing this. I'm like, oh, where's that reel from? You know, again, sometimes we just need to speak to the team so that we can reground ourselves and stop some of the expectations that aren't urgent.
Yep.
I liked your triage because it's like, okay, are we in triage or are we in maintenance? You know, because if we are there trying to put out fires right now, then those are the things that we need to be focusing on.
Right.
So if you have a child that's doing self-injurious behavior, SIB, if they're biting themselves, if they're trying to poke their eyes out, of course, these are the things, nothing else matters but this.
Right, exactly.
So health and safety, that's what we have to look at first. Then we need to prioritize. And parents, sometimes, speaking from experience, when you are in the thick of it, the whole world, you can't see anything except for the trees in front of you. You know, it's like that analogy is that when you're in the forest, you don't see how big or small it is. And so if you climb on the top of the tree and you look down, you're like, oh, there's my road. I'm only a block away. Same thing with our kids.
Absolutely.
While we're in it, sometimes we get so consumed that they're delayed. They're not there. Johnny's supposed to be reading by now. Sight words are supposed to be there. Guys, early intervention is so that we can step in and we can see the gaps and we can start filling them in together. It's also reinforcement that you're not alone. That's
the key right there.
You're not alone.
No, and that's the whole point of why we're talking about it. It's just, you know, if you have an infant, you're going to go see the doctor, right? And you're going to talk to the doctor and listen to the doctor, and they're going to listen to you, and it's a partnership.
Correct.
As the child grows, it's a teacher, it's a daycare worker, it's a speech therapist, it's an ABA therapist, it's whoever it is that's there for you, to work with the child.
Yes. Yes, and communication is key.
And communication is the only way.
We can't get away from the communication.
Right.
And that could be the smallest thing. Johnny doesn't like corn. Johnny doesn't like anything yellow. Sally can't stand anything purple. Okay, why? We got to find out what was the trigger for that. Maybe she got stung by an insect that had purple wings. And now everything, I mean, we think about that. I think about the little girl that was in early intervention that had an amazing imagination, but was coming up with the scary, you know, clown is coming to get me and the bees are swarming and coming after me. And we were like, okay, Mom, Dad, what's going on? What are they doing? And it took teamwork to talk. And what we found out was that she was a night snuggler. So in the middle of the night, when Mom and Dad were having their time, 11, 12 o'clock at night, they could have a movie on. And the little one would come in, snuggle up between Mom and Dad and fall asleep. That's what Mom and Dad thought. She wasn't asleep. She was watching those movies with Mom and Dad and then having nightmares and then coming in and telling us her version of what she was watching. So that's where the bees came from. That's where the scary clown came from. But we wouldn't have known that if we didn't have the open doors of communication.
That's right.
So, tip and trick for those that are in early intervention right now or just starting, you just got a diagnosis or you just think something's a little different.
Right.
What is your tip and trick for our families?
Mine comes from the standpoint of sharing data. So I remember even when my oldest was coming about, and the doctor actually told us, get a journal, start writing things down. It could be the smallest thing as Sabrina likes the color, you know, and that's it. And so then the moment that I had a situation with the daycare worker or the teacher or whatever, it's like, oh, I've never experienced that. Let me look back. And I would look back in our little parent journal and say, oh yeah, no, you know what? That has happened. That actually has proven to be super helpful now that I'm a parent of twins, because there's a lot going on with the two of them, but they're very different. So for me, it's collect your own data as a parent so that you're willing to share that with the people that are also helping your child.
I love that one. I really like the journal. I wish I would have done that with Loki if we think about it years ago. Journaling's a tough part.
It's hard. It's hard to do.
It's only been the last 3 months, and that was because of my NCS training that it's like kicked me in. Get your journal done. Pam, get your journal done. My tip I think I would give to the parents is don't be afraid that you're the only one going through it.
Right.
A lot of times we filter what we say to our team because we don't want to be prejudged. oh, I can tell you, Pam doesn't use any corporal punishment, oh, so she won't understand because I slapped Johnny's butt because he was, and I made him stop. We have that. Parents don't want to talk about how they discipline their children. They don't want to share any of that, but we need to know that, because if Johnny or Sally comes from a home that has different disciplinary procedures, we need to know that, because we need to know what they're used to. The next part is that if something is going on that you think is a little strange and abnormal, share it, because you may be helping the parent that may be eavesdropping into your conversation to go, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one handling this. And then the next thing you know, you see parents when they walk outside your building. The next thing, they're having their own powwow. 5 or 6 parents are just out by the car. Now they're having coffee after they do the drop-off. And that's what we want. That's how you build community. And parents, that's the easiest way to build your new set of friends around your family. And your family is those that are involved in your child's life. So, Manny, this was a good episode.
That was a good one.
I really like this. I feel energized and relaxed on this one. It's like I want to go to EI right now and just love up on all of my little ones. So moms and dads, we really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit a like, share, subscribe. That way we can be into so many more homes with tools and tips and tricks so that we can make our neurodivergent children more neurotypical. Make everybody just one big community. So, from our couch to yours, we'll see you soon, guys. Bye!